stay ahead in any kind of high-pressure situation?
Well, we're really headed into the backstretch here. We finished the first half, and now we're going to play the Western Division the rest of the way. 15 of them, 9 of them will be on the road. And you hear me say this all the time, but you play an SEC baseball, everybody's good. I always tell my guys it's a top 25 team. Occasionally it's maybe a top 5 or top 10 team, but everybody's good, and you better play extremely well if you expect to win. And we know there's going to be a great challenge at Mississippi State.
Ray, how much does it help depth-wise to have Williams back to kind of give you that fourth option outfielder and maybe another DH?
Well, it gives us a little more security, no question about it. We've been hanging on a little bit lately, with our situation in the outfield, our depth in general, and everybody has issues. So I don't like even talking about it, or certainly not allowing anybody to make any excuses. Everybody goes through situations, and ours has improved a little bit because Jake's been reinstated.
Are you glad he was able to get his legal situation resolved? It sounded like this morning he did.
Well, yeah, I'm encouraged by that. I don't think I'm any different than any other coach. When something happens, regardless of how severe it may be or may not be, it's frustrating, it's irritating, and it's a distraction. And I wasn't very happy when that occurred a couple of weeks ago. And now that some time has passed and I've been able to understand the situation a little bit better, I might have been a little bit more difficult to deal with than maybe I should have been. That being said, I think Jake acted in a little better way than maybe I gave him credit for initially. So his situation has been cleared up and he's back with us.
Your decision earlier, you talked earlier about maybe moving Matt Price to rotation if you needed him there. You glad you left him in the pen, the way he's pitched out of the pen all year?
Are you confident that he won't be starting in 2 weeks?
Well, that's your call.
Never
not
say.
mine.
Where's Travis? never say never. But yeah, it's worked out for us. I didn't think it was. Coach Myers and I talked a significant amount of time about this, dating back to the fall. That we like Matt Price. He's a proven pitcher. He's got stripes on his sleeves. We got to try to have him in situations to help decide games. If he's going to be a starter, so be it. If we can use him a couple of times a week, possibly even 3 on occasion, we're better off for that, we think. And so far, it has worked out for us that he's had an impact on some games. And I hope that that's the case going forward.
Doesn't he bring, though, you look at the Vandy series, the intimidation factor he brings when he rolls into the game, the confidence of the team behind him, and don't you think he makes other teams a little antsy, knowing that if he gets the ball with the lead, they're in trouble?
Well, I think that's the case when you have that mentality individually, and then you have that perception from the other team that this guy's proven he's been good. He's their closer. He's their late guy. He's the guy they go to. You have to think about that a little bit, and he's been successful at it. And there's some guys throughout this conference, and Mississippi State has one in Caleb Reed who's been pretty good down there too. So it makes you think a little bit, no question about it, and he's proven to be pretty good at it.
You worried about him for next year, staying, leaving, draft coming up?
I'll tell you this, and I've talked to some scouts and a couple of general managers, and if I'm putting together a team, I want Matt Price on my team. You can show me the rankings and projections and all those things and whatever that's worth, but if I'm putting the team together, I want Matt Price on my team, regardless of the role you put him in, whether he's a starter, which he can do because he has a variety of pitches, or a setup guy or a long guy. He's going to fit somewhere in an organization, and I would value that. He might not be quite as high up the charts as some other guys, but for me, he's up there.
As a hitter.
All right, with an extra stick now kind of back on the bench and available to come in, where do you look at Stephen Neff producing from now on out? Would he continue to DH? Is he going to go back in the rotation, maybe relief?
I'm not sure. He had a pretty good outing at the College of Charleston the other night in relief. I don't think it was great, but he said he felt good. That's a plus, because he's been on the shelf a little bit with that bicep soreness. But we'll continue to try to work him in as a pitcher. But quite honestly, I got a little bit excited about his at-bats. I don't know what his numbers are. I guess he's only had one hit or 2 hits, but one didn't count because it hit the pad and it got caught, which I didn't know that till somebody sent me a picture. It was kind of interesting. But I kind of like that, you know. And then yesterday he had a workout and pretty impressive. And I in batting practice the other night at the College of Charleston, there was a friend of mine there who was a scout. And I said, hey, take a look at this kid I'm letting hit in the first group today, number 9. Tell me what you think. So he watched him hit, and then afterwards I went back down to see him, and he goes, was that Neff? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, he looks better than a lot of your hitters. And I go, that's kind of cruel. He said, well, he looks pretty good in there. And I said, yes, he does. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I don't think there's a reason right now to shut him down. Let him continue to get some at-bats. Whether he's in there or not will be based on who we're playing in the matchups. But I got some confidence in him. I know he's missing time, missing at-bats and all that. I understand that. But when you get a guy that believes that he can do something, he's got a chance, and I think that's where he is.
I think conventional wisdom says that 12-hour bus ride or whatever you guys are doing here is a tough thing for a team to handle. Do you look at it any differently with this team and its makeup?
It's all about mindset. And it's about how you react to situations. And no, I don't buy all that. We had a 2:30, 3 o'clock alarm in Omaha before the national championship game where we had to clear the hotel, and we didn't have any power at Tennessee in the hotel for how many hours, Andrew? 12 hours?
About 12.
Yeah, through the entire first night, and we had a fire alarm at about 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Those are just minor hurdles you leap over. Can't have the mindset that something's going to set you back.
Speaking of challenges and hurdles, and you've asked a lot of your players, like having Matt and Steven make some plate appearances and they've delivered. What does that say about those guys and about your team that guys suspended, injured, other guys just step up and keep producing?
It speaks volumes. It really does. And when you talk about situations on a team, regardless of the sport that you're playing in, a coach is, in my estimation, is limited as to what can happen. You can motivate, you can speak, you can do a lot of things, but it comes back to your players. And we're fortunate right now that we have some veteran guys with Morales and Jackie and Wingo and Brady Thomas and Matthews. I know he's hurt now, but he's been with us, and some guys have been around a little bit, and they have learned that you don't make excuses. You don't talk about things that you don't have or things that don't happen. You try to find a way, and you do the very best you can with what it is. And and the bottom line is you either win or you don't, and that's it. And that's the way you have to approach it.
Ray, getting back to road trips and bus rides, you've got a pretty loose bunch. Over the years during your coaching career, have these road trips gotten a little goofier?
They really have. I never was a guy with the earphones and all those things in the past, but I bring mine now. I bring my headset, not because I'm interested in country music all that much, although I like it. I'm blocking out what's going on behind me. So they have fun. They've got all the technology. They got all the gizmos that are going on. It's really unique when you go back there and you see what's going on with the different technology and guys watching movies and all kinds of things going on. It's kind of neat. But they have a good time, and why not? That's I'm glad that they do.
Anything else for Coach Tanner?